Hi, my name is Peyton Snider, and I'm presenting Artifact 4, Standard 2.2, Criterion 6, Advocate for Equitable Access. Currently in my classroom, there are not enough Chromebook devices to support the number of students I teach. And two of the classes I teach are co-taught students, which have at least half of the number of students in the room, have IEPs or individualized education plans, and need to be served with accommodations and modifications. Without enough devices, I am forced to have to put students into pairs, ask them to share, or split my classroom to where only half the students are using devices at the same time. This puts a big hindrance on what I'm able to do in my classroom. And although I love and am a supporter of collaboration, it's really important for students to practice independent work skills and produce their own work as well, because not everything can be collaborative. Additionally, it is really important that I'm able to support the students who need the accommodations and supports from accessibility tools online in a digital format. Learners that would benefit from having the additional Chromebooks would be economically disadvantaged students. One, because they would not have access typically to technology at home. If I were to have enough Chromebook devices in my classroom, I'd be able to rent those out and allow students to take them home as needed, as long as they were returned to school for other students to use during the day. We are a district that encourages blended learning, and we use a digital platform learning management system called Canvas. And the expectation of students is that they are logging on to Canvas at home to complete homework, assignments, check their grades, and etc. So having those additional Chromebooks would support those students who can't afford the technology on their own. As mentioned before, it would also benefit students with special needs or students who need those accommodations or modifications, because I would be allowed or able to provide them accessibility tools that they might not have had otherwise if they would have had to share devices or work in pairs. It would also support my gifted student population by allowing more opportunities for extensions to the content, the assignments, the activities, the projects, etc. I could send them on their individualized learning path to where they could work independently on extensions to the work that we're completing. Once the need was identified and the learners that it would support were identified, I completed a grant application to add the additional Chromebooks into my classroom to help support those students. Additionally, I created a presentation to go along with the advocacy grant application. The purpose of this advocacy grant is to bring engaging technology integration into my classroom. As mentioned before, my school and my district are spending a lot of time creating and delivering professional development on blended learning. It is one of the key things that has been pushed within the district over the last year. So it is important that we as teachers are incorporating technology as much as possible to help facilitate that blended learning practice. Because of the lack of technology in my classroom, I'm not able to fully dive in to that blended learning application, because I only have 10 Chromebooks for roughly 30 students each period. I can't fully facilitate true blended learning with that lack of technology. So having an additional 20 Chromebooks would give me the ability to better differentiate and individualize my instruction while providing those blended learning opportunities. With 30 Chromebooks total, each student would have access to a single device at any given time, and this would allow me to create and use a variety of resources and tools during instruction, including those accessibility features and extension programs and opportunities for my gifted students as well as my special education students. Receiving this grant and being given the technology would impact students in several ways. The first being the CTAE immersion. That is a push from the district as well as within my school to help facilitate those CTAE classrooms, which are the career, technical, and agricultural education classes, offering students real world experience in those different career, technical, and agricultural fields. Additionally, it would help continue the STEM implementation that my school is trying to reach. We are in the process of getting STEM certified, so we would be able to better facilitate those STEM strategies and highlight that that is something that we're using regularly across the board in our school. As mentioned, it would also help facilitate blended learning more regularly and consistently in my classroom if students were able to have more access to those devices. It would also mean more consistent access to digital tools and resources. My students are often very confused and need a lot of troubleshooting help when we are using different digital tools and resources. And I think this is primarily because of the lack of consistency that we have with these tools, because we don't use them as often as I would like to. With the lack of technology, it's difficult for me to incorporate these tech tools regularly. So when we do implement them, there are struggles with students because they're not used to it. And it's almost like we are having to relearn those processes over and over again throughout the year. Also, it would increase student engagement, because what student doesn't love using technology regularly, especially in fun ways? And I would be able to set higher expectations as a teacher for the work that is being submitted to show mastery. I did submit my grant proposal to the Creekland Middle School PTSA for review. The organization accepts applications for teachers for classroom grants. I did submit my grant in October of 2023, but was notified in December that my proposal was denied. So unfortunately, I was not able to receive the devices for my classroom, and no explanation was given at the time as to why my application was denied. If I had to assume why, it was due to budget constraints or the technology constraints and requirements set by our county. But I still stand by the need for equitable access for all students to have a device at school that they can use to facilitate their learning. Thank you so much for listening.